Diego
All right.
Pavia. Who is this guy?
So he is.
Why do we care what he says? Do we care what he says?
Honestly, I don't. But you know what? We're here for the clicks. We're here to react to it and get clicks off of it.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because let the folks know what was said. Do we have a clip of it? Do we know?
So-
do we have quotes?
I was gonna say I've got the quotes. So just some background. Diego Pavia went on the Bussin with the Boys podcast that is co-hosted by former Titans players Taylor Lewan and Will Compton.
Will
And
Compton.
there was numerous different things that were talked about, going back to his times in New Mexico State, going to Vandy from there. They talked about if he thought that the outcome of the Alabama game was going to be the same this year, NIL stuff, all sorts of things that happen. And he also mentioned that something that I won't say that I fully agree with, but I think that it's something that's worth a conversation. You want to be going to the SEC, not entertaining anything with the Big Ten. That those are some comments that can be entertained. I also do think that those are some controversial comments as well. But the ones that we are getting to, and there's 3 different comments here that we will react to. We'll start with number 1. He was asked about Vanderbilt trying to become the state of Tennessee's top program. Diego Pavia's comment, quote, Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year. This is going to be the new staple of college football. It's going to happen here at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Slow your roll there, buddy.
You want my initial reaction to that?
Let's hear it.
This is a guy that loves the spotlight, right?
Absolutely.
And he's realizing he's kind of fallen out of it already.
Yep.
So he's got to say something to get right back in it. And that's all that is. There's no way he truly believes that. But he doesn't have to. All he has to do is say it. People are going to talk about it just like we are. And boom, his name's everywhere. And it's just ironic. The 2 comments. One, Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee. Oh, okay, buddy. What did Vanderbilt do in baseball, by the way, when they got the number 1 spot? If you remember.
They went home early. They were the first ever number 1 seed to not even make the regional final.
They didn't even make the championship game in the regional. That's embarrassing. You hosted a tournament and had to watch 2 other teams play for the championship. And that's just one sport. Basketball, they're nothing. They did split the series with us, but then we got their best center. So, Kerry, welcome to the good side.
Yeah, and by the way, in his comments after going to Tennessee, and I don't remember the exact comment, but wasn't it something along the lines of, I bleed orange, or something like that? I mean,
yep. Now that's a comment that you probably shouldn't say before you even played a game for us, but I like the dedication, the commitment to coming to Knoxville. So, look, the football team, I'm kind of proud of little brother here, like, and as a whole, just because I do feel like they're way better than what they were. I mean, a lot of people kind of wanted them out of the SEC, and I didn't want that because I think it's kind of cool to be in a state that has 2 teams from the SEC in it. It's kind of like Mississippi, Alabama has 2 teams. There's only so many states. Texas has 2 teams in the SEC. It's kind of cool to be one of those states that has 2 representatives of the conference in it, especially in a sport like baseball when your 2 programs are the top 2 programs of the sport.
I mean, you bringing that up, I do have to agree. It was Barstool Vanderbilt put something on there during the College World Series, said, you can tell there's no team from the state of Tennessee that's in the College World Series because there's no hype around it.
Right.
Literally this year, there was no hype around it other than the fact that Murray State was there, a number 4 overall seed from a regional, and then Coastal Carolina's winning streak, which, by the way, go Coastal Carolina this weekend.
I'm a Coastal fan. There. I'm a Coastal fan. And I love what the coach said before the Supers too. The Coastal coach said, look, we've won 23 straight. Like, we're not a Cinderella. And then they went out there and backed it up. They've literally swept their way all the way to the championship series. So, Nah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, I think my initial thoughts of this first comment by Diego Pavia is he's kind of falling out of the spotlight in the offseason. And he doesn't like that. He wants to be in the spotlight. I think his NIL deal kind of has something to do with that, probably. But without a doubt, he's driving clicks, recognition to the sport, to Vanderbilt on the football side, which is huge, and that's something that I think Vanderbilt needs. I don't know what he means by after this year, because that kind of implies like once he's gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I whatever. But I mean, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. I think it's just talk to kind of get back in the spotlight here. I don't think he truly believes those comments, or at least that comment.
I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, it's surely he doesn't fully believe. I mean, obviously he plays for Vanderbilt. He's Vanderbilt's quarterback. He's gonna say those things. Now, does he
Well,
fully believe it? Who knows?
it's
But
summer. It's June, July. It's talking season. Media
yes,
days coming up in July. You're gonna hear a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm surprised we haven't seen it from Mississippi State yet, where this is our year. I
yeah,
mean, I've already said it for Tennessee. I'll be the first to admit, like, this is. I mean, even with Joey Aguilar, dude, give me all of it. Like, we're going to the playoff, like 100%. That's expectation. So,
yeah. But then I want to throw some facts out here as well.
yeah, let's do it.
So Tennessee and Vanderbilt have been playing since 1892. They have played 118 times. From the years 1892 to 1927, Vanderbilt did own that series. They went 19-2-3 in the years of 1892 to 1927.
And then
And
Johnny
then
Major. No, I'm joking. No.
I was going to say there's a man that some of you might have heard of. Don't know if you have or not. He goes by the name of Robert Nealand. That was hired in 1926. Tennessee, since that time, has gone 77. Let's see, gone 77, 12, no, 13-2 against Vanderbilt. 77, 13-2.
And you can thank Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt for the 13 part. I'm joking.
Derek Dooley as well, I think.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Butch Jones and his best teams would always lose to Vanderbilt.
But it's one of the more lopsided rivalries in college football history. And since Josh Heupel has been here, it's been blowout after blowout. And it didn't start that way in the game this past year, as Vanderbilt went up 14-0 before Tennessee just absolutely dominated from there. But it still ended up being a 42-17 victory or 38-17, something like that against Vanderbilt. It wasn't close. And by the way, Diego Pavia, you only completed 8 passes in that contest.
What, 101 yards?
Yeah, 101 yards.
Had a one touchdown, one interception.
Was
Gerard
it
McCoy's interception was insane. I know he had one. It might have been two. It might have been. Because Gerard McCoy had the one like where he fell, like somehow spun around on his back, laying down, caught the ball
in the end zone.
And then I think he airmailed one, and we caught one. Like, I don't know who caught it, but yeah. So it might have been 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
It was a bad day for Diego. What's crazy about that stat line too? Diego did that bad with the lead. Yeah. If you remember, that game started with a kick six, basically. I mean, a kickoff return for a touchdown. As a Tennessee fan with BVS, I was like, "Wow, this is how we missed the playoffs." Like, here we go.
It started off just absolutely terrible.
So
you had the kickoff to start the game, and then
we went 3 and out.
Was it a 3 and out, or was it a Dylan Sampson fumble?
It might have been a Dylan Sampson fumble. It might have been. I don't know.
I think it was a fumble that resulted in Tennessee to give the ball up, Vanderbilt to score another touchdown.
It was like literally 4 minutes into the game. It was 14-0.
Yeah. And then at some point again in the first quarter, Vanderbilt kicked a field goal to make it 17 to, it might have been 17-7 at that point. It might have been 14-7, and then Vanderbilt kicks a field goal. Then from there, Tennessee was like, okay, now we finally need to start playing.
Oh, they locked in 100%. Yeah. But
here's one thing I will say. Vanderbilt, I'm proud of you for finally figuring something out. You went 6-6 this past year.
Beat Bama.
You made a bowl game. You beat Bama. I mean, you're not the basement dwellers, at least at this point in time. You're not the basement dwellers of the SEC anymore. There are teams that are below you, but
Enter
there's
Auburn and Mississippi State
and Kentucky.
and Kentucky. Kentucky, dude. What a season. What
Yeah.
did they beat Ole Miss to start the year?
And they did not win another SEC game.
That's tragic, bro. That is tragic.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so you got
Mark Stoops, highest paid coach in the
yeah, you're not the basement dwellers anymore, but there is still a significant gap between Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Tennessee is not going to let Vanderbilt run this state. Let me just tell you. And
let me say this,
Vanderbilt is sure not going to be the face of college football.
Even if Tennessee football loses to Vanderbilt, like one season, if it's this year, like that doesn't necessarily mean Vanderbilt runs the state.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the revenue differences between schools, like let's just be honest here, ticket sales, even if you maxed out Vanderbilt Stadium, what is it, 30,000? I'm joking. I don't really know their capacity, but it's literally nothing compared to Neyland.
I think it's only like 42,000, maybe 45,000. It's definitely
on top of that.
It's half of Tennessee's for sure.
And on top of that, their average ticket sale is pennies to me. Now, that's not something I want to brag about because like it does kind of suck that as a Tennessee fan, it costs a lot more to go to the game. But like overall, like that's what runs a state is how much revenue are you bringing into the state? How much are you bringing into the university and revenue sharing? Because that's a thing now. Vanderbilt ain't got that. When your best attendance rates is with basketball and baseball, and then when you rush the field at single file line, brother, sit down.
Hey, they did a little bit better against Alabama this year. They had two lines going down. It wasn't just single file.
That's because they upped their security. Because if you realize their security is what helps them get down, not prevents them or anything. It's fine. No, What's the second comment that he made though? Like, obviously this went a little bit further, right?
Yes. So the second comment here, it was about if he and teammates talk about Vandy needing to be the brand of Tennessee. Diego's response, quote, "Everyone wants to come to Tennessee because of Nashville. They want to come to Nashville, so Vanderbilt. And then when we have the most money in NIL, why not come here? We literally just have to win this year, and throughout the rest of the year, it'll take care of itself."
That's people want to go to Nashville for bars, drinking.
Yes.
Go to Broadway.
They want to go to Broadway. They want to go to the Grand Ole Opry. They want to go to things like
Morgan Wallen's bar. Like
nobody is coming to Nashville for Vanderbilt.
It's like Tennessee saying, everybody wants to come to East Tennessee for the Smokies and Dollywood. So come to Tennessee. Like that's not our pitch. No. People want to go to Knoxville because of Tennessee, period. Like
yes,
nobody goes to Nashville and's like, yeah, I'm in town this week because I'm catching a Vanderbilt game. Like,
and there's a reason why Knoxville has been named America's sports city numerous times. Nobody's saying that about Nashville.
No, it's Music City.
Exactly.
It's fine.
And then when we have the most money in NIL, first off, and I
you
don't
give to the Whistler.
I was gonna say that's a constant. Caught me off guard, but that was a great comment. But first off, I don't know the exact specifications behind it or anything, but Vanderbilt is a private school. As I've mentioned numerous times, the NIL works different at Vanderbilt, and they sure as heck aren't using most of the money at the university to fund their athletic programs first. And what was the projected cost of Ohio State's roster this past year? Was it
$21 million?
Is Vanderbilt,
and that wasn't even the most expensive. Texas was the most expensive at like 24.
Yeah. So is Vanderbilt gonna be putting anywhere near $20 million towards a football roster?
But Diego Pavia is going to be the only millionaire NIL deal Vanderbilt ever has.
Yes, 100%.
Like 100%.
So where is this NIL money that he's talking about? That's going to be
let me take that back.
Most in college football.
Let me take that back. Baseball or basketball, they may have one, but like football team, yeah. But no, I get that. I agree. But like we're not even stating the obvious here because like the NIL has to work somewhat similar with other schools because they are still in the conference and they got to run and operate kind of like the same as the other schools in a way. But you still got to be a freaking genius to get accepted into Vanderbilt, and you still have to go through that process, regardless if you're an athlete or not, to even go to the university. So Vanderbilt already has a challenge on top of getting recruiting done, and that's why you've seen so many. That's why you've seen James Franklin get out of there as quickly as possible, and he, in my opinion, was the most successful coach at Vanderbilt. I'm
Ever.
gonna just say in my lifetime. I do think ever, but in my lifetime, and he got the heck out of Dodge. Now Penn State's not a bad gig, but he also knew that like he had so many limitations when it came to recruiting at Vanderbilt, and that's what limits Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt's in the conference, kind of like walk-ons are on a team for a GPA. Like they just got to keep that average up, and that's what Vanderbilt's job is. So I mean, if they want to keep producing doctors that saves lives, that's great. But that's what you should hang your hat on, not being a cocky quarterback that goes 6-6 and thinks he's the Heisman Trophy winner.
So this is the last comments that I'm gonna pull from there, since it's not directly related to Tennessee, but I do want to pull these up. So it was brought up on if it will be a disappointment if Vandy does not win the national championship. First off, Vandy and national championship in the same sentence.
Why is
What?
this even being? This is how I know it's all for clicks, bro. Why is this even being talked about?
Yeah. So Diego Pavia's response: for sure, you win 10 games in the SEC and you're in the playoffs. Then it's anyone's game.
But he wins the last time Vanderbilt's won 7. Like, what do you mean? Whatever.
And has Vanderbilt won 10 games in the season more than once? Because I know James Franklin did it once, but I think the bowl game was included in that. So, and obviously, you could probably go back to the early 1900s whenever they were dominating Tennessee and find it. But how many times has Vanderbilt actually won 10 games in a season? I know you can count the number on one hand. So the fact that you're talking about a national championship in football, and let's not forget about what Vanderbilt's schedule looks like this year. Um,
Let's see. Oh boy, they won 7 games this last year. I forgot about the bowl game, but let's see. The last time they won 7 games was in 2013, where they went 9-4 in back-to-back years under James Franklin in 2012 and 2013. They went
and
9-4 back-to-back years, and then 2008 they went 7-6. But as far as a 10-win season, I'm at 1942, and I just don't see one.
so they don't have a they don't have a single.
They don't have a single 10-win season. Like I said, they went 9-4 back-to-back years under James Franklin. So I'm gonna go ahead and stand firm on the fact that I do feel like James Franklin was absolutely their best head coach, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Which is crazy only because James Franklin was only there 3 years. But in the 3 years, they went 6-6 with the Liberty Bowl. They lost in it. And then they went 9-4, where they won. They went 8-4 in the regular season, won both their bowl games. Yeah, like James Franklin came in, was very close to a 10-win, but no, this team goes 2-10 more than they go 9-4. It's
yeah, and Vanderbilt's schedule this year. I'm not going to throw out all the games, but you travel to South Carolina this year, a South Carolina team that's got a lot of momentum after last year. Not to mention, you got Georgia State coming in this year that you went to last year and got beat. You travel to Alabama this year for a revenge game that you know Alabama's going to be ready for this time. You've got LSU at home. You've got Texas on the road. And then you travel to Tennessee. Those games alone, if you go 1-3, 1-4 in those games, I'll consider that a success for Vanderbilt. I mean, that's just where I'm at with that one. So the fact that you're talking about 10 wins and a national championship, slow your roll, buddy. I mean, those words go together in baseball sometimes for Vanderbilt, but not for football.
Clark Lee in 4 seasons has gone 2-10, 5-7, 2-10, 7-6. Do we know what's coming next? It's not going to be 2-10, but
no, it won't be 2-10. I do think that they can go 5-7 or 6-6 again this year. We'll get into our schedule predictions.
That's
coming
running the
up,
state, baby. That is right.
but
That's running the state. Give them,
yeah.
I'm not going to talk trash, but the kid's just saying this to get exactly what he's getting, and that is clicks.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk anymore about Diego Pavia, but do you have anything else before we move on to our final segment of the night?
How much do we beat him by
this season?
Yeah.
It's in Knoxville, so we're going to beat them by at least 35.
Fair enough.
Joe Aguilar is going to throw for 450 yards, 7 touchdowns.
He gets pulled in the second quarter.
I'll go 8 touchdowns so that he breaks Eric Ainge's record this year. So
I wouldn't even be mad if our boy Joey Aguilar, because I could see him with this attitude, kind of like a Baker Mayfield grabbing the sack type gesture after. Sorry for that's definitely inappropriate, but it is. Ever since that clip of Baker went viral, I think it was Oklahoma and Texas where he did that. And I was like, man, that is terrible. But I could see Joey Aguilar doing that to old Diego Pavia. That'd be funny.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
Especially after I believe it was 104.5 The Zone put out their list of the top quarterbacks in the SEC this year, and they put Diego Pavia at 3 and Joey Aguilar at 15.
15. That's wild. Joey Aguilar had statistically a better season than Nico.
Yeah.
Just had a lot of interceptions. But, I mean, one thing Josh Heupel's been proven to do is cut or coach quarterbacks to protect the ball. I mean, Hendon Hooker, real quick. Hendon Hooker was very turnover prone at Virginia Tech. He comes to Tennessee and just
5 total interceptions over 2 years.
In 2 years. Yeah, I was going to say, he just protected the ball. And so I'm excited to see what. Now, obviously, it's a shortened. I mean, he's only got summer camp and fall camp to work on it, but I don't know. We'll see.